Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in your corner of the world. We're going to get into some articles here. Ripple enables SMEs to receive international payments immediately. When we talk about cross-border payments, the two names that come to mind are Ripple and Swift. The two platforms can be very complementary and help speed up cross-border transactions, as Marjan Delatine, Ripple's head of global banking, suggested in an interview. Expanding on that, in a recent release on Technative, Marcus Treacher, the SVP of customer service at Ripple, said that the trend of enabling customers to receive and send low-value payments in real time would accelerate in 2020. As customer demand for frictionless on-demand payments continue to rise, keeping Ripple's payment system as a reference point. Treacher explained how the global economy would experience further growth of micro and wallet payments in the coming year, which would in turn enable instant and low-value payment flows. Treacher also hinted that a payment system shift would occur in the future. Elaborating on the topic, he stated, "The shift from traditional large-value batch flows to low-value, high-volume payments will help SMEs break into new markets much faster." SMEs are often young and fast-growing, which exposes them to cash flow crises through late payments from their larger foreign buyer. He added that the traditional and large-value batch flows would decline, while low-value and high-volume payments would be on the rise. This, he said, would help the small and medium enterprises, SMEs, break into new markets much faster, declaring that the cross-border payment services these days were slow, uncertain, and prone to errors and accrue extremely high costs. He asserted that new blockchain payment technologies like Ripple's enable SMEs to invoice and receive international payments immediately in small amounts and with certainty. He also made a note of how Ripple's recent mobile app would come in handy for tourists. Explaining further, he stated, "Imagine if a Japanese tourist visiting Thailand could buy goods using a mobile app or QR code, triggering an immediate cross-border payment from their Japanese yen account to a Thai baht merchant's account. If more consumer purchase solutions start leveraging blockchain technology in the same way, the payoff will quite literally be huge." In conclusion, predicting that there is enormous scope for blockchain technology, he said, "Getting Ripple to address issues of liquidity, speed of implementation, and the cost of capital would make microtransactions such as loans, payments, remittances be more efficient and transparent." Pardon me. The next article we're going to discuss is Ripple crypto remittance platform solves a real-world problem, says the Flash FX co-founder. The co-founder of Flash FX, an international money transfer company, says Ripple's cryptocurrency-based remittance product is the real deal. Flash FX is a long-time Ripple partner and was one of the first companies to begin using Ripple's on-demand liquidity, ODL, which uses XRP to move money across borders. In a new interview with Crypto Eddie, Nicholas Steiger responds to Ripple detractors who question the company's business model. When asked if Ripple pays Flash FX to be a client and if ODL is a scam, Steiger said his company made a strategic decision to use Ripple early on. "For us, we wanted to use Ripple for a long time, and we see the value. We still use Swift. We now use ODL. We have our own integration that we had from day one on the ledger, where we're using XRP. It's not a scam. It solves a real-world problem. It solves a real use case that I've been believing in for a long time." Steiger says regulatory red tape is one of the biggest hurdles to wider use of digital assets among banks and fintech companies. When a bank or organization has more certainty around the regulatory aspects and is more positive around the risk at the time of using XRP as a digital asset, then they can turn it on without anyone even knowing. It just happens. Flip the switch. It becomes a smoother process of integrating and enabling participants using ODL. Ripple launched ODL in October of 2018 and says the payment solution has the potential to give financial institutions and companies a new way to move money without having to hold pools of capital in banks around the world. To date, Ripple has opened payment corridors between the U.S., Mexico, and the Philippines. Stagger says he's hoping Australia, where Flash FX is based, will be next. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has teased a number of new corridors that may be in the works, but the company has yet to release an official statement. Pardon me again. I want to come back up here and repeat something really quick. Okay, right here, if you're an investor or you're new to the space, you've probably heard I call them fudsters, the fake people, the phony people who hide behind the anonymity of the internet, and they just bash anything, anyone, and just spread hate and just negativity about any and all of the currencies out there. There's a big one that most people have heard with XRP. XRP is a scam coin, blah, 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 blah. But here again, if you've heard it from nowhere else as a credible source, if you haven't heard it before tonight, again here, Crypto Eddie, a very classy lady. I have a lot of respect for her. Just things that have happened in the community, and she stepped forward and shown total class. It's extremely amazing. There needs to be more people like that, and there are, and we'll discuss them at other times. But the short end of this story, back to Nicholas Steiger. I'm going to read it again. For us, we've wanted to use Ripple for a long time, and we see the value. We still use Swift. We now use ODL. We have our own integration that we had from day one on Ledger, where we're using XRP. They're currently using it. His next sentence says, it's not a scam. Those 4 words coming from Nicholas Steiger. It's not a scam. It solves a real world problem. It solves a real use case, a use case that I've been believing in for a long time. And on a different level, there are many of us investors who would agree with him for the same exact statement. On the Wall Street Journal, there was a statement, we need to be a technology company. Wells Fargo struggles with aging systems. Aging systems is the Swift and the technology company. This company is like RippleNet. Let me go back to the top of this. I was reading through. I thought I'd reset it. Ripple and XRP mentioned in official U.S. bill proposal. A proposed bill on remittance insurances mentions Ripple and XRP as the newest developments in payment channels. Increased cross-border remittances have alerted U.S. regulators to the opportunities for tracking and securing funds. The potential platform for significant remittances, Ripple's XRP, was mentioned in relation to cross-border payments systems in the proposed bill text. The pending action, a document on remittance transfers under the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, Regulation E, is still in discussion until January 2021. The mention was immediately recognized as potentially positive for XRP on social media. The document proposes to secure funds sent through the growing selection of payment channels and covers the activity of fintech institutions and payment processors. The technical possibilities of new types of networks are growing or allowing a more detailed and exact approach to insurance against losses. Ripple's payment network was mentioned as one of the vectors of growth in the remittance market. The continued growth and expanding partnerships of virtual currency companies such as Ripple, which offer both a payments messaging platform to support cross-border money transfers, as well as a proprietary virtual currency, XRP, which can be used to effect settlement of those transfers. Ripple was mentioned also in relation to being a system which could exactly predict the funds to be received. The Bureau also believes that expanded adoption of Swift's GPI product or Ripple's suite of products could similarly allow banks and credit unions to know the exact final amount that recipients of remittance transfers will receive before they send the transfer. That's all I really wanted to go into with that article, because I wanted to actually pull up the stated bill and document. The Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection, right off of the consumerfinance.gov website. And as you come down, you'll see the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection. Action is proposed rule with request for public comment. Then you have the summary. I'm not going to go into this. It's a pretty lengthy 8-page document. But what we are going to do is come back up here and click it in. And here we see the press release stating Ripple. And we come back up. Oh, let's see. I might have passed that one there. Let's try that again. There it is. Not sure why it didn't come up the last time. The Bureau has continued to monitor the remittance transfer market since the publication of the assessment report and observes that most of these documents continue to progress. Examples include, number 1, the continued growth and expanding functionality of the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. That's SWIFT's Global Payment Innovation, their GPI, tracking product, which can increase the amount of upfront information available to sending institutions, and the expansion of the major payment card network's capacity to support cross-border payments. Number 2, the continued growth of fintech non-bank remittance transfer providers and their further expansion into partnerships and other relationships with banks and credit unions, which allow such entities to tap into the closed network payment systems that non-bank remittance transfer providers have developed, and the continued growth and expanding partnerships of virtual currency companies such as Ripple, which offer both a payments messaging platform to support cross-border money transfers, as well as a proprietary virtual currency, XRP, which can be used to effect settlement of those transfers. These developments suggest that in the future, there may be means by which banks and credit unions could reduce their remaining reliance on estimates. These developments all share a fundamental similarity. They all apply elements of a closed network payment system to cross-border money transfers sent by banks and credit unions. Just wanted to share that bit directly from the consumerfinance.gov page. And many people were saying that was the first time that Ripple XRP had ever been mentioned in a government document. But I just want to remind that here we have on page, I believe it's 194, we have Ripple again. And who is right above it but R3. And if you look through, it's pretty exciting to see the people on here. Then you have the Wells Fargo that we mentioned before, and there's a whole group of people on a couple different pages here, PayPal, etc. But again, Ripple and R3 seem to be the conversation of tonight, stated in the Executive Order 13772. Going back to that, on the SWIFT and Corda Settler, the SWIFT GPI, which runs on R3's Corda Settler, which runs on Ripple's XRP. Don't mean to be connecting them, that one is a company, one is a currency, but when you've been around here a while, it's an easy explanation of connectivity. But again, there's the, as they say, the Mirage à Trois of Corda Settlers, the blockchain Corda Settler, connecting to Ripple, connecting to SWIFT, all of them working together. And then back here you have the back to the SWIFT's GPI, uses the R3 platform, be able to authorize payments from their banks via GPI link, settle GPI payments through their bank, and receive credit confirmations on the respective trade platforms via GPI link on completion. R3 reveals Corda Payments app integrates with XRP. So again, we don't need to go into that if you've been around here for a little while, but if you're new, I wanted to share that connection back to you again. That Ripple is beginning to get more frequent, stated by name, coming out into the government bills and platforms, and a few more people are getting closer and closer, as we've shared on our Twitter page. They can explain perfectly XRP, they can define it perfectly XRP, but they cannot say it by name. Pretty soon, I believe, in my opinion, I believe the reason that government officials and companies cannot excuse me, the reason I believe they cannot state it by name is you have still an open court case with XRP basically being alive, an unsettled judgment on this case at this point. So you can't have a president stating Ripple XRP when they're in a lawsuit. You can't have politicians stating it. You can't have other companies stating it, because then you're going to sway, if suppose a judge hasn't heard of them until this court case, or suppose he's on the line, maybe, who knows, maybe he's a huge Bitcoin investor and he just doesn't even like the guys at Ripple. Doesn't even matter. But a judge is going to be as fair as possible, or the people involved in the case are going to be as fair as possible. That's just what they do. So if someone above them on a higher pay grade, or someone that they admire, or someone on the news, politician, or another banking company states, oh my gosh, we love R3, Corda, XRP, this is the best thing that's ever happened on planet Earth compared to financial system. It has changed everything. It's going to make us so much money. It's going to save us so much time. Now, if this judge is a neutral judge and he hears that, of course he's going to sway his opinion. Us as investors, we know, obviously, from the 2015 fintech settlement, even the U.S. government stated that XRP would be a currency. In the UK, it's stated it is a currency, and across the world. But again, it is what it is. The court case is what it is. And I believe that the moment this court case is settled and it's cleared, and this silly security XRP conversation that's going around when that ends, and its clarity is defined for all of the banks and for the rest of the financial world to be able to state and use XRP openly and publicly, I believe, in my opinion, that is when the price is going to begin moving very quickly. Doesn't mean it has to wait until then, but we do know there is a judgment coming on this case, and it should soon be closed. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm wanting to say somewhere around January 24. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. I will check on that and confirm it. But it's somewhere, I believe, in this month. And then it should be basically open season for XRP to begin running. And we're, as investors, we're hoping that is going to be soon. We've been very patient, if you've been around here for a few years or longer, in hopes that this would soon take off. But again, on my personal schedule, the 4-year cycle, 2009, 2013, 2017, that cycle doesn't peak it until around Q4 2021. So I'm very patient. My holdings are here regardless until 2025 and final at 2029. That is my own personal. So anytime earlier is just icing on the cake for me, and very exciting, in hopes that that could happen. Again, guys, anything that we say here is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. And we're wishing you the best of nights and wanted to share this information with you. Until the next one.